Musician Craig David has recently revealed that he has been celibate for more than a year now. And the reason and the intention behind his decision has both surprised me and also opened a new perspective for me.
And I realized that me not having healed my own issues was never really having me in a position to be open to someone else. So therefore, I realized that I had to pull back from all of this. And this has been like the last couple of years really for me.
What, you stopped having any kinds of romantic and sexual encounters?
Rein the whole thing back, which does mean not outwardly going on dates. The sexual interactions is going to have to just stop now. You're going to have to just cut that off.
Have you been in a celibate phase? Is that what you're saying?
For quite a while now.
For how long?
Wow, maybe a year or so.
Celibacy means abstaining from sexual activity for some period of time. British singer Craig David talks about his celibacy in the podcast episode of Louis Theroux. He says that he has been having one-night stands and casual sex to prevent his heart getting broken and also to prevent intimacy. Now he says that he wants to have a relationship and he wants to have huge laughs with someone that he's romantically involved, so that's the reason he has been abstaining from sex or dating. But can being celibate really help to find true love?
There were some relationships, and I say some, it wasn't many relationships, but there were some relationships that really, I knew how deeply we were trying to break down that same defense mechanism that I had of I don't want to get too close because that feeling of when my heart got broken before is something I never want to experience again. And yet what I now know to be true is that you can only really have real relationship and real love if you're willing to have your heart open as expansively as you did the first time.
Craig David's decision has really opened my eyes because I'm also looking for a romantic relationship after being single for so many years and also after so many one-night stands. But I never really thought of abstaining from sex as a way to reach out to this goal. But while I was making a research about celibacy, actually I was surprised to see that there are so many people out there talking about this journey. Even on TikTok there's a trend now, people have been talking about how celibacy has been helping them to resolve some issues in their lives. In today's dating app world, relationships and sex can be consumed very fastly, and intimacy has become a concept that is very hard to achieve. And people who want to resist that situation have been really thinking about abstaining from sex. And there have been also celebrities who have been going through this journey. I guess as I have always thought sex as something very important and vital, I didn't know that people have been voluntarily giving up on sex.
Samantha.
Yes.
I'm celibate. I practice brahmacharya, tantric celibacy. I gave up sex 3 years ago.
My God, why? Or more importantly, why?
However, apparently, celibacy have been helping some people to resolve some issues in their lives. Of course, people can prefer celibacy for religious and spiritual reasons.
What if you meet someone you like?
I talk and drink and laugh and give them Bibles and hope they eventually leave me alone.
What if you meet someone you love?
We're not gonna have sex.
But apart from that, for example, if people want to heal from their sexual traumas, celibacy is a really helpful way to resolve these issues. Alternatively, celibacy can be a beneficial tool to deal with sex addiction. And also for people who want to prioritize other things in their lives, celibacy can be a meaningful and helpful way. For example, it can be their careers, it can be other relationships in their lives. I can relate to that because, for example, if you are looking for sex constantly, it may divert you or distract you from the other things going on in your life. People abstain from sex while they are knowing about their potential partner. To give an example to that, Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin Bieber didn't have sex before they got married because at that time, Justin Bieber was in the celibate period, was trying to recalibrate his Christian beliefs, and he was trying to re-establish his relationship with the God. In the end, he thinks that God has gifted him with Hailey Bieber. Another celebrity who has found the love of his life during his celibacy period is actor Orlando Bloom. Orlando Bloom says that he was already celibate for 6 months when he met his now wife, singer Katy Perry. Apparently, a very close friend of Orlando Bloom has advised him to go celibate. If you want to be serious about relationships, if you want to figure out what you want in your life, why don't you go celibate for some period of time? Orlando Bloom was planning to make it just for 3 months in the beginning, and then he says that he liked being celibate because it was changing his relationship with women, and also he was discovering his feminine side. In an article published in English newspaper Guardian, there are really insightful stories. One of the most inspiring stories is belonging to a guy called Tom. Tom says that after an abusive relationship, he decides to become a celibate, and he also starts going to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings to deal with his addiction. And during this journey, Tom has realized that he was using casual sex to deal with his loneliness. Even though sometimes he misses having sex, he says that being celibate has given him opportunities in his life to develop his other relationships to people around him. Experts emphasize that celibacy can give people space to figure out what they want in their lives and who they really are. And therapists also emphasize that the definition of celibacy is different for everyone. That's the reason no one should feel pressured to experience the celibacy like the others do.
You can make your own definition of it. So I always support my clients in defining what celibacy is to them, and first by creating an intention. An intention really establishes your why of being on this journey, and you will always refer back to it when you kind of get into those spaces of like self-defeat or negative self-talk. You always go back to your intention, right? Second step is to create your rules, and your rules aren't really meant to kind of hold you down. They are there to support you.
It is true that we live in a very hypersexualized world, with the dating apps hurting romance and intimacy. I still don't think that I can abstain from sex while looking for romance, but I think it's very relieving to know that there is this option. And people are talking about it very honestly and openly. For example, singer Craig David is a very popular and famous guy, but he talks about his heartbreaks and also his journey of celibacy very openly, and I think it's very inspiring. He also talks about his past trauma and also other issues in his life in his recently published book, What's Your Vibe? I think it's very helpful for people to know there is this option of being celibate in the world where sex is promoted very aggressively.